The two were convicted for murdering their parents back in 1989. This is the first step for the governor to eventually decide whether or not to grant them clemency, a move that their family is hoping for.
They have paid a price. They have paid 35 years of their lives, right? They have paid an enormous amount of time. So there is no getting away with anything.
For more, I'm now joined by criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Josh Ritter, host of the Courtroom Confidential podcast. Josh, always good to have you. One of my biggest questions is, how does a parole board even begin to decide what they'd be like in a society that they haven't been part of since committing murder?
Yeah, it's difficult. What they're basically making their assessment on is how have they behaved over the last 30 years. But as you point out, for the last 30 years, they've been in prison. So the parole board is trying to say to the governor, have they participated in any violence while they've been in custody? Have they participated in any drug use or trafficking or all of the other kind of trouble that one can find inside of a prison? And basically present that to the governor and say, here's what we expect if they were to be released. Would they be successful in their reintegration into society? It's a difficult assessment to make, given that they've spent the lion's share of their adult life inside of prison. And the only thing that we have to speak for them that's remarkable before they went into prison were these kind of brutal murders. But as you point out, this is the first step towards whether or not the governor will actually seriously consider clemency in their case.
And just as an attorney, I mean, where do you stand on this debate of whether to let them out or not? I mean, you just heard from a family member there. I mean, if the sexual abuse at the hands of the father is true, I mean, heinous, but does that give you the right to murder both of your parents faceless and then, be let go down the line? Where do you stand on this one, Josh?
That's such a great question. And I think it's why 30 years later, we still are talking about this case, because it is so difficult. Because the more you think about it, you can go back and forth on these issues. I think, though, as an attorney, one thing that I'm most concerned with, and I think that the judge will be in this case when reconsidering sentencing for them, is that we're talking about overturning a verdict. Jury verdicts should be sacrosanct. They should be the final word on something. And we should have some confidence in that when someone goes to trial, found guilty or not guilty, that's the end of it. And whatever their verdict was at that time should really be written in stone, aside from some rare circumstances. Is this one of those rare circumstances? I don't know. Essentially, the best argument being made for them is that, listen, they've been model prisoners. Listen, 30 years has passed by. Our views on that, our cultural lens towards what they experienced back then may have changed, but I don't know if that's convincing enough to set a precedent of saying we should overturn their verdict.
Yeah, everybody's talking about this, of course, after the Netflix documentary, the docuseries Monsters that dropped. Also, Josh, this move came just a week after LA District Attorney Nathan Hochman cast doubt on new evidence in this case. You and I have talked about this at length, that letter apparently written by Eric before the murders detailing alleged sexual abuse by his dad, Jose. Take a listen.
It is not credible evidence. If they had this evidence, if this letter truly existed, the defense counsel would have absolutely used it at the trial.
Yeah, so he opposes a new trial for the brothers. Does that surprise you? And also, how much weight does he carry in terms of whether or not this progresses forward?
You're bound to get whiplash if you try to follow all the twists and turns that this case has taken over even the past few months. But yeah, Nathan Hochman's press conference last week was a little shocking, especially given it seemed like the momentum that the brothers had towards this resentencing. But it's important to understand that, first of all, Hochman was speaking about clemency. He was saying, or not clemency, the habeas petition. And he was saying that they're going to oppose that. But he took about 50 minutes in great pains to explain the circumstances of the murders themselves, reminding us of how violent they were, of the premeditation that went into them, of the changing narratives that they had afterwards, the deceit. And I think he did that because this coming resentencing hearing on March 20th, I imagine his position may be different from that of his predecessor. And I don't know if he's going to be as enthusiastic for their resentencing as we might have thought.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.